And the assumption, though at the moment, is denied by your senses and denied by reason. If you persist in it, it will harden into fact.
Manifesting money is the second favorite topic after manifesting a specific person. You can find many videos on this topic. You can find videos that say that you can manifest it in a few seconds or within 24 hours or less. You can find videos that will show you some ancient hidden techniques. Well, if you have watched them and are tired because you still haven't gotten anything, then this video is definitely for you. You are at the right place because I will not promise you some new technique or method that will make you a billionaire within 24 hours. But I will definitely show you how to become financially independent and rich starting today. I will 100% try to change your perspective about manifesting money, and will also share some voice clips from Neville Goddard, who was a great mystical teacher and taught the law of assumption that helped many people manifest their desires. You had this desire for money and wanted to manifest it. You know that it is possible, as you have manifested some things consciously in your past experiences. You have read success stories of people who manifested money in their lives. Now you want to know how you, too, can do it. Well, the people who manifested it were the ones who used their imagination consciously. They were clear about what they wanted. Then they created a scenario in their mind's eye that confirms that their desire is a reality. It is about inner conviction. Many YouTube videos will tell you to try some technique to manifest money. People watch it and follow it without even thinking about why they are doing so. Why are they writing an affirmation on a piece of paper and keeping it under their pillow? When you understand the why, then you will know what technique you have to use. In short, these techniques are trying to change your inner personality. The personality that perceives this reality is trying to change the way you think, feel, and act. The result is money for you. Well, you can find countless videos where they will tell you that they manifested money by just repeating a phrase or doing some technique. They are not wrong, but what they didn't tell you is, why did they do it? Now you know that when you use these techniques, they change your inner self. You have to change your inner story. You have to change your beliefs and assumptions. Your physical world is totally a reflection of what you entertain inwardly. The thing you call reality is just a confirmation of your inner world and your inner story. The reason people manifest money overnight by repeating a phrase or performing a technique is because of their inner story. Maybe they were from an affluent family and were raised with beliefs that were favorable regarding money. So, just repeating a statement easily made the belief stronger and manifested the money they wanted. Maybe it will take some time for you, but it surely will happen if you persist in your new state of being, which has enormous wealth. You have to imagine being the person that you want to be and stay with that assumption, as persistent assumptions harden into facts. The next clip from Neville Goddard will elaborate on this concept for you.
Everything was once only imagined. Now tonight, find out exactly what you, not what they think you ought to want, what you want. Ask no one's permission. You don't need any man's permission. You don't need your own decision. What do I want? Now, what would it be like if it were true? What would I feel like were it true? Now, catch the mood and try to give that mood all the sensory vividness of reality, all the tones of reality, and then sleep in it, just as though it were true. And then await the inevitable. The inevitable is you're going to resurrect it and objectify it on the screen of space. And then the world will call it real. And they may not believe you. It doesn't really matter. If you tell them it came to pass because you simply imagined it. Now, they'll point to the series of events that led up to it. And they will give credit to the bridge of incident across which you walk towards the fulfillment of that state. And they'll point out some physical thing that was the cause. No, the cause is invisible, or the cause is God. And God is invisible to mortal eye. Who knows what you're imagining? No one knows. But you can sit down and imagine, and no one can stop you from doing it. But can you give reality to the imagined state? If you do, yes, a bridge of incident will appear in your world. And you'll walk across some series of events leading up to the fulfillment of the imaginal state. But don't give causation to any physical step that you took towards the fulfillment of it.
See, Neville Goddard told you that you have to sleep on the assumption of having your desire. He clearly tells you that you will lead to some bridge of incidents, which are some series of events that will lead you to your desire. You have to remain faithful to the idea that what you want will happen in physical reality. You will become faithful only when you have imagined yourself experiencing internally what you wish to happen in external reality. No one knows what you are imagining right now. You can close your eyes and imagine something that does not exist yet. But when you imagine it, it starts taking shape. This idea of yours is getting transmitted to everyone, and everyone is starting to play their part to make it a reality. You just have to stay persistent with this assumption until it hardens into fact. Therefore, you will always hear Neville talking about imagination in many of his lectures. Imagination creates reality, and many well-known personalities in this world use their imaginative power to achieve success in this physical world. If you are someone who wishes to manifest wealth and be rich, then follow the paths of a rich man in your imagination. A rich man perceives reality totally differently than a poor man. A rich man knows that business is about adding some value to a pre-existing thing and offering it to someone by increasing its price and adding some profit to the previous amount. A rich man knows that saying bad things about money will stop him internally from taking action to get those extra bucks. He knows cursing a billionaire and getting jealous of his achievements will only get him farther from his monetary goals. He knows that money is just a tool for transacting in the physical world that buys you man-made luxuries and comfort. I advise you to read books such as The Psychology of Money, Think and Grow Rich, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and The Richest Man in Babylon. There are plenty of similar books that you can find. I am telling you to read them because reading is one such activity that reprograms your mind. You place your attention on something for longer periods of time. In some way, it will let you to think about money. When you start thinking about it, you just have to imagine having it. It can take a few hours, days, or even months, but it is due to the current programming of your mind. When you change the way you think about it, you will perceive it differently, and opportunities will bump into you. Like the opportunity that presented itself in the next story of Neville Goddard. It is a story that will leave you speechless.
You imagine yourself having a marvelous business, and then comes the day a building is for sale, and you haven't a nickel to it. And not a total stranger, but a man comes in and asks you quite in a friendly manner, are you going to buy it? And knowing you don't have a penny, you say to him, as you would a friend to a friend, with what? And then he says, well, I have money. It's only in the bank, drawing nothing. You say, well, I have no collateral. Well, he said, I watch you. You're an honest person. Your family, they're honest. I think they are. Would you like me to buy it for you? Get my lawyer to bid for it. If they knew that I'm bidding, that I have money, they'll bid me up. And so I get it at the very lowest price by getting a lawyer who represents more than one client, and they do not know who he represents, and he'll bid for it. Are you willing to take it regardless of the price? And you say, yes, I'll take it. But I have no collateral. All I need is your signature, that you will simply pay 6% on whatever the price is, and then reduce that principal over a period of 10 years. Agreed? Yes. But then sign this, and we'll see if we can buy it. That day, you owned the building. And you didn't have one nickel when you owned the building that day. You only had your signature on a piece of paper. At the end of 10 years, you repaid the man his principal. You reduce it every year, paying him 6% on the remaining principal, and reduce the entire thing at the end of 10 years. That man dies 20 years later and leaves you $150,000 in cash, tax-free, and a couple of homes and many personal belongings. In the meanwhile, you continue in that business, and it multiplies and multiplies. And that year was 1922, 1924. This is now 1968. That building, I'm speaking factually, that building in 1924 is now gone. He paid only $50,000 for it. It was repaid and repaid. A bank 3 years ago bought the property where the building was rotted, bought the property for $840,000 in cash and no capital gain, from $50,000 to $840,000. In the meanwhile, the business is expanding into all the other islands, so that today you couldn't buy them out for $15 million. All in imagination. And this goes back to the imagination that preceded this man's offer to buy the building. For the young man seeing this building and entertaining a thought that the present owners deceived his father, and through deception got him out of a partnership, a junior partnership. And he was moved not to get even, but to prove that he really had something within him and could be a success in spite of their deception. And so every day he would see on that marquee not their name, but his own family's name. And he would see it in his mind's eye, because you could not take their name and transliterate it and make it spell this man's family's name. But he saw it. And in his mind's eye, he saw that name, which, if true, would imply the family owned it. He did it every day, twice a day, for 2 years. And then came this sudden, out of the nowhere. And the whole thing was made possible, and today they're all over the islands. And they have no partners. They've never taken in one partner, never sold one bit of stock outside of a family ownership. All by imagination. Now, I know what I'm talking about because I'm a member of that family. I'm speaking of my own family. This is not hearsay. I know it. My second brother, Victor, was the one in whose imagination this whole thing began to bloom. And he still works all by imagination. He knows what he wants, and then after having decided in himself, that's what I want, and that's good for the business, he then in his mind's eye, he appropriates it. And then let things happen. As told us in Scripture, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure, and it will not be late.
Fantastic, isn't it? The simple vision of owning that building in his brother's imagination became a fact in his reality. He owned the building even when he didn't have the money. Recently, I was going through my comment section, and a viewer commented that they wanted to move to a different house, and for that, they were manifesting large amounts of money. But what I would like to suggest to you is to imagine yourself already living in a different house. Your desire is the house. Money is just a means to get it. It is a tool that facilitates trade. Just imagine yourself owning the house and living there. When you imagine yourself living in that different house that you desire, you are living from the end. Maybe if you got that money, you would spend it elsewhere and still be left with no house. Therefore, it is always suggested that you imagine owning something you want, not the means of achieving it. You never know what happens. Maybe you inherit a property from someone. Like in Neville's brother's case, maybe someone will buy it for you. Stop focusing on the means of getting it. Just go to the end and live there. Your circumstances would become such that you would get what you desired. I think this explanation helped the viewer who commented on my video. For those who are looking for a quick fix, I would like to suggest that only when you start changing your inner world will the external reality change. Affirmations, visualization sessions, or some techniques are just tools that help you change your inner world. These tools are used to change the inner story, which in turn manifests what you want in your reality. Like you use a hammer to break a brick, or you use a pen to write on a piece of paper, or as I am making this video with the help of my desktop. All these things are tools that help you achieve something. In the same manner, imagination is a tool that lets you manifest the desires you want. Imagination has elements such as visuals, sound, touch, smell, and taste. Imagining and giving your imagined scene a sense of vividness surely manifests your desire. The teachings will always remain the same. You can use them for any desire: a car, a specific person, a house, vacations, jewelry, gadgets, health, or business. It works for your every desire. It is a creative thing. Therefore, you must use your abilities to imagine the scenario and give it the tone of reality. Do it in your imagination, appropriate it, claim it, and assume it. There are an infinite number of states available. Just choose the one you want to experience, appropriate it, and assume it. You will get whatever you wish for if you stay persistent. With this, I hope you learned something wonderful today. Subscribe to watch more such videos. I will meet you with another golden nugget. Happy manifesting.